You know how people are often concerned, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show in any way you can. Think about becoming a patron, patreon.com/HouseSparks. You could be in the credits at the end of the show. Also Venmo. You know how people are worried about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Oh my God, the impact that she will have. We got to get her out of office. Okay. No, you don't. And tarring the, like gluing her to the Republicans is strategically very smart. And in this particular instance, if you want to look at, you know how we talked about these amount of drop-offs where you're like Fox News and then Newsmax and then like RSBN and then a Flashpoint. I guess it's forgivable that this one's smaller. This is a show called Voice of Rural America with this guy BKP, and this is his BKP politics. And he has her on as a guest. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene, 14th Rep, BKP politics. Now, don't let that 4 rumbles make you feel bad. I mean, sure, she's the biggest fundraiser in the Republican Party right now, but that should don't think for a second that the dew has come off the lily. That's still exciting, still lightning in a bottle. Having that MTG on, that MTG magic, the MAGA-MTG, make this great, make Taylor great, something. All right. This guy, let's see if we back up, and he invites her on, and we know this guy's the real deal. Target shelf, nothing wrong with that over there. Two wooden flags, one shellacked, one not. Same vendor. He covered something up with his Braves jersey. It's an autographed picture. See the autographs down there? And apparently he's now ashamed of that, or these are the Braves, the Atlanta Braves, and he did this. And so that's why she's on. This maybe a local show to help her raise awareness in her district or something? We shall see. Very exciting. But we don't know if the Gazpacho police will show up, but we'll see.
Opportunity they have. So maybe she has a message they don't want out. Joining me now.
Okay, this is because she's being shut down.
Congresswoman from the 14th District of Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you doing?
Good. You know what? Every single morning as I start my day, part of my routine, is to Google your name. All right?
It's a little weird. I'm not going to lie.
My routine in the morning. And because I have Pornhub on my browser. I want to see how many of them are just blown away by what I call you telling us the truth. They can't take
by what you call that. By what I call you telling us the truth. I call it that. It's not what it is, but that's what I call it.
That. And I check it every morning, part of my routine.
Yeah, not creepy at all, BKP. So you call yourself BKP because BTK was taken? Right, what is it? Bind, kick, push? What's happening?
Thank you for being with us. Let's start right out of the box. I have watched your statement you made the other day after Zelensky addressed the joint session of Congress. You made about a 12-minute statement. I've watched that. I've watched several of your interviews.
Well, of course you did. You Googled it that morning. You spanked it over pancakes to it.
And read several articles. We have a compromised president. We have a compromised president from China to Ukraine to.
Yeah, it's terrible. Look how serious she's getting. It is. He's compromised. We have a compromised president. Well, I mean, he's not in office anymore, but he is compromised.
And I'm really concerned. Do you think that Joe Biden is compromised, and what are your
sorry, it was Biden he was talking about. I thought he was talking about Trump, considering Biden, if he's compromised by China, is having a shitty time showing it, considering the AUKUS agreement and the renewal of the Quad, and he's bought. Okay.
Well, I've always known he's compromised, and that's why on January 20th of 2021, I introduced my first set of articles of impeachment on Joe Biden.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? He was this guy was dying of COVID in the background.
Day he was inaugurated as president of the United States, and that's because he's compromised with his son Hunter Biden and his own business dealings in Ukraine.
Dude, you don't have a fucking cough button? What's happening? Sorry, I was just at the trucker convoy and I picked something up. Fucking shake it.
Other countries. You see, the Biden crime family is a family that has gotten filthy rich through corrupt business dealing, and it's all through the abuse of power of Joe Biden's political position.
Filthy rich. And that's terrible when you have a president that's rich. I mean, not really rich, like, you know, like Donald Trump kind of rich.
That he's held over the years as vice president of the United States.
Seriously, that guy, there's no way that guy isn't going to die on camera. What is happening? All right. At least I have a cough button. Watch this. See how easy that is? It's 2022, asshole. If at least you have the decency to take her in remotely.
We all know, and even the New York Times is telling the story about the Hunter Biden laptop, where there is
no, they aren't.
Proof, just absolute proof that Hunter Biden is corrupt, and so is Joe Biden. He's completely tied in. Hunter Biden admits it on his laptop that he gives half of.
Sorry, what laptop? He admits on his laptop? Does he? She's talking about text messages from his phone, by the way.
Earnings to Pop, which is his dad, Joe Biden. We know, we heard all about.
It was from what, the 90s when he was on, or in the early 2000s when he was on drugs.
10% for the big guy, and this is through Burisma in Ukraine, and it's actually.
Excuse me, it's not pronounced Burisma. I mean
the Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say pronounce it Burmese.
All right, this is.
Mind-blowing to watch with a war unfolding in Ukraine, which is so tragic for the Ukrainian people. The people are always the ones that suffer, but Joe Biden is completely staying out of the way. And it's the optimal situation for him, because any type of evidence is going to be completely destroyed if it hasn't already.
I see. Yes, the only reason Biden's letting this go forward and why he talked Putin into attacking the country is because he was hiding all the evidence of Hunter's crimes in a maternity hospital in Kharkiv.
In Ukraine, as Putin and his Russian military invade and complete their takeover of Ukraine. And so, yes, Joe Biden is.
Invade and complete their takeover. So it's a fait accompli. I don't even know why they're fighting at this point. Do you guys? I can't understand.
But even furthermore, Brian. The real tragedy here is, you're right, the media lies about me constantly. They have.
That is. I mean, there's children's hospitals and there's an entire city of Mariupol that's being bombed, but the real tragedy is how the media talks about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, let's thank you for finally bringing up the real suffering in this situation.
It is their sworn duty to put the same playbook on me that they used on President Trump, and that is to lie, rinse, and repeat the same lies over and over and over again to try to saturate the public and try to train the public to believe the character that they're presenting to them that is supposed to be me, that's not me at all. And so
no, this is not Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is not someone who's anti-mask or will show up with compromised people that she actually had possibly contact with on January 6th at the jail in between their arrest, arraignment, and try to, I guess, witness tamper. I guess that's what we've been given as a picture of who she is, but that's not who she is. She's a wife. She's a regular client of a sex guru at a gym. She wears blue.
I'm sure you find it amusing every single morning when you Google my name. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, amusing is the word.
Don't even do that, Brian. I don't want to know the things I say every day.
It's part. No, I call them the complicit media, and I've often.
So you've learned from Trump how to make up cool names.
Said that the First Amendment, Congresswoman, was intended for freedom of speech, and we do want a free press. But I don't think the founding fathers ever intended the First Amendment be used by the press to be complicit in a crime or corruption. And
that's weird. It's almost like they didn't intend the First Amendment to cover, say, the downloading of child porn either. So we don't have an absolute rule. They seem to think ahead about that one. Or people like automatic weapons that were that you could carry around in your hands. They seem to not picture that when they came up with the Second Amendment.
I think we're at with the media. And the reason I do that is because much like when Trump would just throw out a one-liner and the media, it would just drive them nuts. You know, Congresswoman, we got to admit, you tend to do that from.
Yes, the one-liners is what drove them nuts. You know, the one-liners like trans people can't serve in the military. Mexico is sending murderers and rapists, and some of them are nice people.
Time to time, throw out a one-liner and drive.
Yeah, one-liner like there are good people on both sides, right?
Nuts, but you know, they never take the time to listen to your message. And if people would tune into your message, you really have a great message. I want to get on with.
Great. Tell us. And
I'm talking about Joe Biden being compromised. You know, we're watching these innocent people die in Ukraine, and I have asked the question: why did Joe Biden allow this to happen? And I get put.
Yeah. Why did he allow Putin to attack this country? I mean, doesn't he have a switch on his desk?
Well, he did.
Didn't Trump put a chip in Putin's head when they were meeting in that private meeting, and he leaned over and went, "What conditioner do you use?" And he slipped the little thing in, and the little nano computer wiggled its way into Putin's head, and then he was able to, I guess, just like control him kind of with a joystick in the White House. And then if he ever gets out of line, you could just push a button and Putin will just like pass out when he's near a balcony. Why didn't obviously Trump left him a note that's there. So why in the world why doesn't he use it? What's happening?
Putin did. You know, all of this military equipment we talk about and aid and sanctions, everything could have been done 90 days in advance, well in advance of Putin.
Yeah, why didn't you sanction him and send military aid when they hadn't done anything, when you're still trying to talk him down from it? Why not fuck him into a cocked hat and get him into a position where he had no other choice but to do it?
Ever going into Ukraine. And I'm very confused on why we sit back and watch this happen. Why did Joe Biden sit back and watch this happen, Congresswoman?
Yeah, why did he sit back? This is a good question. Why did Joe Biden sit back and watch this happen? I mean, we have nukes.
Well, actually, you know, there's a much longer history here that people are ignoring.
Sure. They're ignoring it. Look, this goes way back to the hard drive there's
goes back before 2015. We go back to the Obama-Biden administration, and what they did, and
You mean when Russia attacked Crimea and Donbass?
You can even remember there's videos of Lindsey Graham and John McCain in Ukraine. What they did is they propped up Ukraine, and they were working so hard to push Ukraine to the West, when for the Ukrainian people, the best thing that could have happened for them is to have declared themselves an independent nation and, an operate.
Yeah, they did. And in that independence, they decided they wanted trade deals with the European Union. And what was Putin's answer to that? Send in the troops.
Maybe more like Finland or one of those other countries, so that they...
Yeah, Finland has a deal with the EU for trade. They did that, and they got attacked.
Wouldn't be in the tug of war between Putin and the West, and that's what's happened to them. And then here you have Joe Biden, and then I'll blame others. I say it goes back into the Obama administration, and I'll even blame people like Lindsey Graham, who is begging for war every single night on the television. These are the people.
I don't normally like to interrupt when they're shitting on Republicans, so I feel like we just have to let this roll.
That gave the Ukrainian people the false hope. And now you see Ukraine just kept poking the bear, which is Russia.
Yeah, Russia's the bear in this situation. They were poking the bear by being sovereign in their decisions. I mean, if you're Russia and your ex is dating somebody else, how do you not follow her home and shoot her on her way home from a date? You know what I mean? She's poked you. How do you... I mean, you gotta... what are you gonna do? Just take that?
And Russia invaded, and they're...
Yeah, and then Russia invaded because they poked the bear. Can you imagine her coverage of the OJ trial? Well, I mean, Nicole... Sure, they were divorced, but Nicole, dating maybe somebody. I mean, she kept poking OJ and poking.
And this is the hard truth to accept, there is no win for Ukraine here. Russia is being very successful in their invasion, even though we
know
different things on television. The things that we see and we know that are actually happening there I don't see a way out for Ukraine. Now, here's been my stance all along, Brian. I'm very...
Yeah, so, I mean, if you, at this point, just lay back and let it happen.
Against America and American tax dollars and American troops. Those are our sons and daughters being used over and over again in foreign wars that we don't belong in, foreign wars that no one wins. And if we want to be real honest about these foreign wars, they're always about energy. They're either about oil, but now the new dawn for
the new dawn is all about green energy. It's about windmills. No war for windmills. Fucking hell.
Is about rare earth minerals. And the big elephant in the room, so to speak, that everyone keeps ignoring and no one's talking about is the amount of lithium and other rare earth minerals that exist in Ukraine. And it makes
Really? Really? Excuse me a second. Whoops. This dipshit thinks that we are fighting, God damn it, that we're fighting in Ukraine not to protect their democracy, but because we need lithium. Meanwhile, the geothermal field beneath California's Salton Sea contains brine that may hold from 1 to 6 million metric tons of lithium, an essential element for producing batteries. A Berkeley lab study aims to evaluate the resource. That's the hot brine that comes up in the Salton Sea. Yeah, 1 to 6 million metric tons. Yeah. So, but I mean, we have that, and that's not even what we have in like Wyoming and the Dakotas and all that shit. No. Good Lord. She thinks we're fighting this war over fucking lithium. Good Lord.
You really wonder what is the long-term objectives of people who are very interested in who controls Ukraine. And so, you know, it's tragic what's happening to the.
All right. So why isn't your assessment, since we have plenty of fucking lithium, that Russia is doing this just to control lithium to sell to somebody else because they don't have any, which, by the way, they have a shit ton.
People, we see over 3 million refugees have fled into Poland. Many people are dying, and these are the things that are so heartbreaking and hard to see day in and day out on our 24/7 news.
Well, it's very hard for him to see. He's too busy Googling you.
But the other thing that the media doesn't do, and they're very complicit in doing, is they don't tell the truth. They should be talking about the neo-Nazi military militia groups that are very much integrated in Ukraine's National Guard and their military. They talked about these things as recently. Time Magazine did a documentary on it as recently as earlier last year in 2021. But now the media is pretending that doesn't exist. And this comes after Democrats have called Republicans Nazis for 5 to 6 years now. And after they called Trump Hitler, which is the most insulting, horrific name you could ever give to anyone. And Republicans certainly aren't Nazis.
Well, I mean, obviously the Hitler family has a problem with that.
But it's shocking to me that Congress is so willing to funnel $14 billion in military equipment over and over again into Ukraine, and you have to ask, is this money and is this United States military equipment falling in the hands of Nazis in Ukraine? And then,
well, they'll claim it does, but in the meantime, there are 44 million people in Ukraine and about 10,000 Nazis. I think we have more per capita, last I checked. But, I mean, a lot of them are in jail. Peckerwood gang and the prisons notwithstanding. But, again, so we're not supposed to give material aid to Ukraine because of what the Azov Battalion started as, I suppose, while Russia was sock puppeting it. By the way, Russia always seems to know exactly where the Nazis are, in the same way that Trump knows exactly where the voter fraud is. It's weird that he so specifically knows how it happened and when it happened, almost as if he knew before the check cleared.
The other thing that needs to be discussed, Brian, is there are biolabs in Ukraine. This is true. This is a true story.
Yes.
Yes, it's true. They're Quest diagnostic labs. There's, St. Jude's has a biolab by this definition.
And what is in them? And not only Ukraine, Brian, they're also in other countries like Kazakhstan, Georgia, other post-Soviet Union countries.
Yeah, I don't know why those sovereign countries should have the right to have labs in them doing stuff, gathering pathogens that might cause wheat blight in a country that mainly supplies wheat. That's weird.
And so I'm working on a bill to ban all U.S. funding for bioweapons. That is a bill that we've pretty much got.
Yeah, that's already, we're already a signatory to the chemical and biological weapons ban. We already did. They aren't doing that.
And that will be introduced soon because.
Cool. I have a good idea. How about introduce a bill that outlaws Russia's use of false flags while you're at it? I mean, while you're just writing bullshit.
After 2 years of COVID-19 and what it did to the world and what it's done to the United States economy, that we may not recover from. We're on the verge of stagflation.
We're on the verge of stagflation. No, we're not.
And a recession. We should be very cognizant of how U.S. tax dollars are being spent in regards to biolab.
Right. Yeah. I mean, normally we have a lot of money left over to make bioweapons, but not now. I mean, we got to cut back on something.
And be very, very persistent to be sure they're never being spent on bioweapons.
Yeah, we do. And by the way, the assertion that somehow we are making bioweapons from a sitting congressperson is fucked up. I mean, I suppose you could ask people on the intelligence committees if you're talking out of your ass, and they'll tell you you are.
Let me say this, and you brought this up. By no means, I tell the audience daily, I'm not a Putin sympathizer, but,
and believe me, it's an enormous but.
Let me say this.
Nor
okay?
am I. I want to make that very clear. Nor am I. Putin and what
I don't. Yeah, put me in that column as well. I just think he's gonna win, so you should just let him. And you mention that in your videos. You do. You're very clear on that. You're very clear on that. I'm not a misogynist, but chicks today, am I right? Like how many? I mean, I don't know why I don't buy it right out of the.
But let me just say this. I watch in the morning the complicit media.
The camera you set up in the trees outside her house.
Yeah, because I want to see the narrative, and they are producing a war narrative that they want, and it's really sad. They're producing a narrative that
it's so sad that they're producing this narrative that they want.
They want the American people to see. Now, Zelensky, he went to the European Union Parliament, Parliament in the UK, Germany.
Parliament Funkadelic. He went to a journey show.
Canada, a joint session of Congress, which, by the way, you guys did not have to tape off chairs like the State of the Union. You were able to sit shoulder to shoulder, but that moving right along from that.
Oh, right, because time passes forward.
But he did all of that, and they're billing him. They're promoting him as the next Winston Churchill.
Hi. How are you? Thanks. A smoothie for me? My girl brought me a smoothie. Isn't that lovely? Thanks, babe. Love you. How you doing? The toilet hold together?
Good.
Excellent. None of your business. I'm just leaving that there. I'm not.
Thank you for getting it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No problem.
Sorry, it was a rush. She was trying to get started.
Oh, that's okay. No. I was glad to do it. I assembled a toilet today. It's a long story.
Pink.
It's pink. I assembled a pink toilet. Who does it? I was busy. You're welcome. Yes, I can put together a toilet no matter what color it is. Love you. Hi. Yeah, Murph. What's going on, Murph? Really? Yeah, I've decided that Murphy is the cat equivalent of R2-D2, and none of us speak R2-D2. Right, Murph?
Yeah.
Thanks, babe. Yes.
We'll talk to you when we're done.
America eats its young. We do not. Piss off. No, I didn't break a toilet. I assembled one. You don't know how to put together a toilet?
I have a problem with that because the people promoting him are people like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer,
Nancy Pelosi,
Joe Scarborough, Minka Brzezinski. The list goes on of the people that are trying to sell me that this guy is the next Winston Churchill. I don't buy it, and I want to know, where are we?
Well, no. Winston Churchill was not a Jew. So, I mean, boom.
Ending the 14 billion because Russia is winning this war over here, and
may I? I might have to bail out early on this one as well. Can we just check in on some shit, shall we? Shall we? On how that this whole thing is going? Let's see. Earlier today, let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. This is winning. We'll call this segment "Tired of Winning." in however you say that in Russia. Not a lot of changes on the ground by Russian forces in Ukraine, per a senior U.S. defense official. We've seen some increased naval activity in the Black Sea, who says it may be linked to some of the shelling in and around Odessa. It is. I know. More Russia has now launched 1,100 missiles at Ukraine. It's certainly possible to use hypersonics. It could be running low on precision-guided munitions. It could be a message they're trying to send to the UK, to the U.S. and to the West. Let's see. Classified communications are faltering. We do believe Russia are having command and control problems. You think? They just weren't fully prepared for operations of this intensity for so long on this many lines of attack. Because they're fucking stupid. We're seeing them, the Russians, use a lot more unclassified communications. That's what, oh, by the way, I mean, it's horrifying. Understand, these two assholes are saying that Russia is winning. Let's see. Russian general killed. Let's see. Unsecure. Yeah. Ukraine killed a Russian general after he made an unsecured call that gave away his location, report says. This guy used his cell phone, and they used geolocation on his phone to fucking find him and killed him. Ukraine has said they have killed 4 generals so far, an unusual toll for senior officers. Let's see. Appearing to demonstrate that point, Ukraine released audio purporting to show a Russian soldier reporting the death of Karasimov to a superior. Released audio of the apparent call between 2 FSB agents discussing his death. That's that dude. First deputy commander of the Russia's 41st. But they're winning. I mean, it's part of Putin's plan. What you do is, you don't try to win right away. You drag it on and try to get as many of your soldiers killed as possible. What you want to do is, before you strike you move your big pincer move, you want to lose somewhere between 10, 15, 20% of your fighting force and most of your supply vehicles. It's a key part of strategy. It's from the parts that were left out of Sun Tzu's stuff because of the laughing.
Russia has, and I'll get out of the way, but Russia has energy deals with China on coal. China's building coal-fired plants as fast as they can. They have energy deals, Russia does, with coal. Now,
yeah, it's weird. China has 4 of the biggest coal mines in the world, but they're giant swimming pools now because of the flooding, because of the fucking 9,800 dams with cracks in them in the country.
Gas, oil. They have deals with India on coal and
No, they don't. Fuck you. What do you mean deals with India? China was buying Australian coal from companies in India because, hold on, fucking hell. Like, this is such a level of dumb. Whoops, hold on. This is fun. So let's see if I could find this one right away. Yeah, here you go. This is from 2020. This is in the middle while we're all doing the COVID shit. See these are all people. Soldiers fell to their death as India and China's troops fought with rocks. Yeah, but they put that aside to buy some coal because they needed it. The hand-to-hand combat lasted hours on steep, jagged terrain with iron bars, rocks, and fists. Neither side carried guns. Most of the soldiers killed in the worst fighting between India and China in 60 years lost their footing or were knocked from the narrow Himalayan ridge, plunging to their deaths. I'm sorry to laugh at this, these poor saps dying like this, but I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at this asshole saying China's got a deal to buy coal from India. They get along, they're thick as fucking thieves. India has reacted with shock and caution to the loss of at least 20 soldiers on its disputed border with China, with images of the Chinese President Xi Jinping burned in Indian cities. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's going fine. It's fine. I'd like to assure the nation that the sacrifice of our Jawans troops, Jawans, not Jawas, just for the record. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Move along, move along. These blast points are too precise for Jawas, for sand people. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise. Later in the movie, they can't hit the broadside of a barn. A day after reports of the violent face-off in the Western Himalayas emerged, Indian news outlets began naming some of the dead, and clearer picture started to build of what transpired on Monday night on the high, steep ridge lines above the fast-flowing Galwan River. Because this is a water fight. They're fighting over the water. Nobody wants Tibet because of the culture. They want it because of the glacier. I mean the snow, which turns into water, and they both want the source of the water. Two armies jostled, hand-to-hand fighting broke out, neither side armed, and lines of decades of tradition supposed to ward off the possibility of escalation between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. Then an Indian commanding officer was pushed from the narrow ridge and fell to his death in the gorge below. Reinforcements from the Indian side were summoned from a post about 2 miles away, and eventually about 600 men were fighting with stones, iron rods, and other makeshift weapons in near total darkness for up to 6 hours. But, things are going very good. Oh, and this is fun. I think I showed you these guys. Hold on, let's see if this opens up.
Hello, people. We are currently on set of the Guild Bitstamp launch.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. I understand. Read more. Here we go. Sorry. I don't know why this Daily Motion thing has footage on it, but this little piece right here. In Galvan, the armies of India and China do not use weapons, but China has used non-conventional weapons. Now India is already is ready with some non-traditional weapons. Soldiers deployed on the China border at Ladakh and Arunachal will use them to give a befitting reply to China. Vajra, Trijnul, Sapper Punch, Dand, Bandra, such weapons that are traditionally let's see. Watch this report. So this is I guess it's an ad.
Just found out that we're being turned into comic book.
Oh, I don't care. Okay. Here you go. This is the report I'm talking about.
चीन के इस धोखे को भुलाए नहीं भूल सकते.
That's the place where that people were falling to their
15 जून
deaths.
को गलवान में चीन ने मक्कारी की सारी हदें पार कर पीठ में छुरा भोंका था. बात शांति की हो रही थी और गलाने वाली ठंड में चीन सैनिकों ने तार लगे डंडों और पत्थरों से भारतीय सेना पर हमला किया था. गलवान में दोनों देश की सेना हथियारों का इस्तेमाल.
These troops are up in this area. I'm going to see if they show the actual weapons that they use. So the Indians have started bringing these traditional tridents that they use. Look at this shit. They're making. There it is. Hold on. Back the fuck up. Hold on. These are traditional weapons that they hold on. Back it. Where is it? Come here. The trident. You'll see it right. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. There you go. There you go. Whoops. Did you guys see the trident that was there? Yeah. Yeah, that thing. And it's electrified. Fucking hell. Oh, and they have electrified shields too. So this is just keep that in mind when people are like, India and China are gonna team up and screw us all. I mean, yeah, those are some pretty. It's bitching. Modern meets ancient. Yeah, this is Sparta.
Oil. And then last but not least, because I know you're interested in this, you got Saudi Arabia talking to China, and China saying, we'll buy your oil with our currency. So I know I put a whole...
Yeah, and Saudi Arabia's going, yeah, we'll think about that. And so an article comes out, Saudi Arabia is thinking about that. And then let's see. Let me ask you a question, folks. Since we're talking to two strategic minds, and since Marge has dozed off on us, give me a second. Hold on. I mean, there's so much stuff here. There you go. Here's a market insider. This will just give you a little indicator. Russia's oil may not save its economy as China lacks infrastructure to take on more supply, and Europe mulls formal ban. This was 7 hours ago. Russian oil may not save Putin's economy from crumbling amid the war with Ukraine. This is China doesn't even have the means to take it off their hands. And this is beyond even just their kind of the shitty nature of their economy right now. And by the way, do you think the truck, every time you see these truckers, they're like, we basically live in China right now. No, you fucking well do not. There's Nikkei's going, it's China's economic power overdone. Right. There you go. Here's Manila. Recently released, economic data for the first 2 months of 2022 showed that China's economy has grown better than expected with strong rebound in key areas. Economists say the Chinese economy has shown good resilience in the face of pressures and challenges and expect greater potential for it in the future. Since the beginning of the year, growth in Chinese industrial production, investment, and consumption have accelerated from a grinding halt. But percentage-wise, it's way up. And its import and export volume also maintains its expansion momentum, thanks to the implementation of macro policies to stabilize growth. Meanwhile, this is, when was this? This is March 23rd. So this is relatively new. Okay. Hang out real quick. Hang out, Marge. Let's see. Chinese lockdown. Meanwhile, quit it. China locks down city of 9 million and reports 4,000 cases of Omicron, tests zero COVID strategy. Whole city, all the ports, all the trucks, all the factories, everything. China's locked down an industrial city of 9 million people overnight and reported more than 4,000 virus cases as the nation's zero COVID strategy is confronted by an Omicron wave. Health authorities reported 4,770 new infections. That's the ones that just take those as deaths in a day. On Tuesday, the bulk in the northeastern province of Jilin and the city of Xinjiang and the neighboring Liaoning province was ordered lockdown late Monday. China's moved fast in recent weeks to snuff out virus clusters with pick and mix of hyper-local lockdowns, mass testing, and citywide closures. It reported 2 COVID-19 deaths on Saturday, the first in over a year. 2. Yeah, you would have you got a country, you watching this. You've got a country, you're the president of a country with 1.3 billion people, allegedly. And there's a disease that is present in the country that has killed 4,000 people. Do you lock down a 9 million person city if you've only lost 4,000 in the entire country? Or if you locked it down, would that be because you are bullshitting about the actual numbers? Gee, I can't imagine. Anyways, China's huge, gonna eat our lunch, that story.
Into that, but, take it from there.
Well, that is all. Those all are true statements. And you know about the press.
No, they are not. I think she was asleep when you were talking.
Freedom of press. I always say this: the freedom of press is not the freedom to lie. But today's press, they use their freedom as the freedom to lie, and they lie every single day. And oftentimes, lying is not covering the truth, and the truth is very clear.
Oftentimes, lying is not the truth. Not always, sometimes, but oftentimes. Shit.
It's out there for anyone that wants to go look for it. And this is the fact. The United States.
All right, here we go.
Our sanctions that we're putting on Russia are not going to stop Putin in his war in Ukraine. They're not going to stop him at all. As a matter of fact, he is being very successful in Ukraine, sending money and weapons over.
No, he is not.
Ukraine. This very sad and tragic part of that is it's only going to extend the war a little longer, and it's going to cause more people to die.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, honestly, gangs have lots of guns, and so carrying a concealed weapon in the United States is only prolonging an obvious conclusion. You're doomed. What do you got? 9 rounds in there? These guys have bump stocks and Glock speed trigger modifications and drums that hold like 500 bullets. And yeah, I mean, what can you do against that? So in America, I mean, just melt down your gun and turn it into a plowshare at this point, because I don't see how. And by the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Oh, good Lord.
That is the reality. And that is why I've been voting against these sanctions. I've been voting against sending money. I voted against that $13.6 billion. I did not vote for it.
Yeah, I just think you should just let it happen. Roll over. This is the best work that America could do is let Putin take Ukraine and fuck it.
Here's another reason why I voted against it. I voted against.
All right. Because if you don't, the bank shot Russian funding you're getting won't show up in your campaign accounts, and it's an election year.
Sanctions on Russia, because it's going to actually hurt innocent people, not only here in the United States, but all over the world. You see, Russia is a top exporter of fertilizer and grain and energy.
That's right. And that's what she's worried about. Bullshit. She's worried that the source of bullshit will dry up.
Among other things like metals, like steel and so forth. You see, when we are sanctioning Russia, we are pushing Russia closer and closer into the arms of China. President Xi and President Putin have been negotiating constantly. Just a few months ago, President Putin made a deal with China, a $117.5 billion deal to sell them oil and gas. We just had India do a deal with Russia where India is buying oil and gas, and they're paying in rupees. They're paying in the Russian currency. Saudi Arabia, the king of Saudi Arabia, is not answering.
In rupees? I mean, that's news. So Russia has just gone off the ruble entirely and is now using rupees.
Joe Biden's.
Are you sure it's not roofies? I mean, you've been spending a lot of time at Mar-a-Lago. It's very possible that is the current.
Neither is the UAE. And now you have Syria going in and meeting with these countries, and they haven't done that in a long time. We're seeing negotiating with Venezuela. We're seeing negotiating all over the world. The biggest danger we're in, Brian, is for these countries who are getting tired of the United States and getting tired.
Oh my God, they're getting tired of us. They're tired of our bullshit. All our democracy bullshit.
Our rules, and getting tired of the United States telling them what.
Yeah, telling them what to do. Like, don't invade countries and kill their people when their people are trying to live free. What the fuck, America? What's wrong with you?
they need to do, whether we're right and they're wrong. That's off the table. They're getting tired.
Yeah, it's off the table. It doesn't matter if we're right. It's this war. The way you win a war is by letting the other side do whatever the fuck they want. Who cares if we're morally correct? When has morality ever been a factor in any of this? Why would we? How dare we?
United States. And so they're looking to China and very much in major discussions with doing trade in China's currency. And when we see that start to happen, and we have two competing currencies in the world, China's currency and the United States dollar. So
yeah, we're not. Yeah, yes, good luck. Please, Saudi Arabia, Russia, move to the yuan. Yeah, use that as your reserve currency. It'll all work out. Please do that. The modern world will develop, along the lines we've been building for a long time and interact, and there'll be a trade between the U.S. dollar and the euro that will shore up both over time, and they'll continue to grow. Anyway, but please, yeah.
Petrodollar in China's currency. We're in a very dangerous place, Brian. That is where we would see the dollar crash. We would see economic problems like our country has not seen since the 1920s, and most of us were not alive back then. We are going to see real.
Well, speak for yourself. I myself am over 700 years old. Prove I'm not. Sorry.
Economic damage to the United States that will take decades to get out of. And so this is why I've been against these sanctions, not because I'm for Putin and what he's doing, but I'm against food famines. I'm against food shortages. I'm against people dying because of these.
Wait a minute. First of all, they're going to pass. It's going to happen. So your vote's your concern is protest votes in the face of Armageddon. That's it? This is like the Alex Jones thing, like the world's gonna end. Like all these fucking videos from that Johnny Bravo dude, right? It's all over. It's been over. It's gonna be over for fucking years.
Erroneous problems and errors that everyone is making, and I am urging diplomacy. I have been urging for the Biden administration.
They are doing diplomacy. We are, but we're not going to give fucking Ukraine to Vladimir Putin to do whatever the fuck he wants with. Where is this okay? How is this? I mean, there is no other example or explanation right now other than the fact that the Republican Party, especially the MTG and Matt Gaetz wing of the Republican Party, has become the Neville Chamberlain Party. And granted, during the time of the Nazis, during the time of World War II, there were sympathizers in the United States. There were people who believed that he was in the right and that Jews control the banks. We got to stop this, blah, blah, blah. And there's definitely a lineage of thought from those people still existing, threaded throughout our country and others throughout the world. No question, not the majority by any stretch of the imagination, but they definitely exist. And I'm not insinuating, by the way, that she's part of that or what have you. And I'm also not saying she ain't. But I am saying that we've experienced something similar to this before. It's not that weird that people go, well, hey, it's not our fucking problem. And and really that's their business. And if they do that, would it be so bad? Right? All that horseshit.
As well as my colleagues in Congress to urge for diplomacy and get Putin
whatever he needs, whenever he needs it. Get him a good like a nut hammock, so I can walk around carrying one side, and Matt will carry the other side, and so he'll never feel the kind of gravity have an impact on him.
Zelensky to the negotiating table in this war, make an agreement that everyone can agree on, and let's do this in order to protect innocent people who will undoubtedly always be the ones.
Also, like, Zelensky has come to the table with a lot of options in this. And Putin is, I made my demands at the beginning, before we invaded. They're the same now. They're not going to change. What's, again, where is the responsibility for Vladimir Putin in this circumstance? There is none. Right? Where, at what point does she go, we need to make sure Vladimir Putin has a realistic view of what's possible here, and he needs to make a deal that the Ukrainians can live with and he can live with. There's none of that talk. It's just like, we need to get Zelensky over here and make them make a deal, which is basically like, lay down and take it.
And so that has been my stance from the beginning, and that is where I'm going from here forward.
Yeah, no matter what changes, no matter how long this drags out, no matter how bad Russia's getting its ass kicked, my thing is going to still be, we need to give Russia what it was asking for in the very beginning and pretend it's winning to leverage that.
All right, let me switch gears so we can close out. And I know you got a busy day, and I appreciate you being with us. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't trust that that's true either.
2022, and what many are perceiving and hoping to be a red wave where we could take back, the Republicans could take back the House. But let me say this, the Republican messaging. Now, we just passed a $1.5 trillion
pound kidney stone
spending bill with this aid package to Ukraine. Now, thank you, first of all, for voting no. But an enormous amount of Republicans voted yes for this. Earmarks are in this. I mean, people putting in their...
It's the budget, fucko.
List again. If Republicans take back the House in 2022, I will say this. I'm going to say this because I know your district. And I have been to many events in your district, and
yeah, as long as they serve barbecue.
Back and listen to the long line and what a lot of the people tell you, okay?
Yes, when you're in line at the buffet, people talk.
They don't want Republicans just to take back the House. They want them to actually be Republicans now when they take back the House and cut spending and cut the waste and cut all the nonsense, do they not?
Oh, I totally agree. As a matter of fact,
yeah, it's going to be great. She's going to run in her district this year as somebody who will not spend one more dime for her district. Her district, she's going to tell them, we're going to be an example. We're going to tighten our belt, and we're not going to add a dime to the deficit as a district as long as I am your representative. We're not. As a matter of fact, our roads and bridges are fine. We'll live with some potholes if we don't, so we don't have to pass on the cost of those repairs to our grandchildren and our grandchildren's grandchildren. And you people in my district, you need to vote for me so that I won't bring anything, not just to our district, but not to Georgia either. No, we've got
I agree with them wholeheartedly. And I blame
wholeheartedly. And that's why she'll be running on I'm not spending any fucking money on this dump of a district ever again.
Republicans, oftentimes for the problem that we're in right now. You see, if Republicans always did what they say they were going to do or actually put into action what they say they believe, we wouldn't be having any of the problems we're having right now. But now we're over $30 trillion in debt because Republicans don't actually stand up against the things they say they're against. And so, yes, I fully agree with you, Brian, and I fully agree with every single person that tells.
And by the way, what they're against, what she means is Social Security. Not Medicare for all. Social Security. And public schools. And roads. And airports. And the FAA. And defense spending.
Republicans need a complete plan. And I'm excited to let you know, and you can tell many other people, I actually have a plan that I'm preparing to release. It's called the American Revival, because I believe we need to revive who we are as a country. And that's not just...
Yes, that's what a revival means. We have to revive. Basically, it's the American Defibrillation Plan. Basically, it's a bill where I just go up to the Statue of Liberty with 2 electric prongs and go, clear.
And how we spend Americans' hard-earned tax dollars, but that's who we are as a people, and that even goes down to our faith and putting our faith in action. And so I'm excited to release this plan pretty soon.
In what? Clearly not faith in the Ukrainian people, but okay.
We're putting the finishing works on it, but I believe it's important if Republicans...
Yeah, just putting a little dusting of it, just splurching a little on the top of it. Just it needs a little bit of a shellac and a shine.
Are lucky enough to earn people's trust, and I believe it is seriously, those are the right words to say, to earn the people's trust and earn their vote for us to take back power in the House. We have to do a good job. And, you know, Brian,
So this is her version, by the way, of the Newt Gingrich Revolution. The contract with America. This is the American Revival Plan. That's what she's going to present, that, which will entail stop investing in America. That's it. That's the whole thing.
One of those that I'm pretty outspoken, and I'm always attacking Democrats, but I also attack my own party and oftentimes my own colleagues. And I do that because I'm willing to call out the things that we're doing wrong as a party. And I'm willing to say, here are the things that we need to do a better job. And that is to have a plan in place that will save America and stop our country from rapidly descending into, I used to say socialism, now I call it communism, and what we're looking at could be even more terrifying. And
yeah, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with this new word, communism, you just made up. You used to say it was socialism. Now you call it. Thank you, Georgina. You call it communism, do you? Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Diana. April 1st, your birthday within driving distance of Yamava. Come celebrate with me at the Nerd Halen show. The more the merrier. Yes, Mark is going to be at the Yamava casino in Riverside. It's actually in Highland, California, but near Riverside. And for the Nerd Halen show, please come join us. It'll be good to see you, Mark.
Globalism, with Biden literally calling yesterday for a new world order after this horrific pandemic and the war that we're seeing potentially turn into World War III in Ukraine.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, after World War III, you're going to need a new world order, obviously. And I'm going to have 2 eggs over easy. My new world order will be, 2 eggs over easy, sourdough toast, breakfast potatoes, and I'll go with some bacon, just for the heck of it. You know what I mean? It's the end of the world. Why not?
Concerned on why he's going to Brussels. Now, the media will tell me he's going to Brussels so he can meet with NATO.
Well, clearly he's going down in the space elevator underneath the ground to meet with Satan himself at the tube that Elon Musk built in Belgium that takes you right to the Large Hadron Collider so that he can look into the past and in the future through the magic orb and design thoughts for everyone so that we live in a satanic baby-eating dystopia, right?
They could discuss Ukraine, and I think there's much more going on in Brussels than discussing Ukraine and Putin. Last night I was at a meeting, and I promise this is the last thing I'll ask you. Last night I was at a Republican Party meeting here in Georgia, rural Georgia. One of your colleagues was a guest speaker, and several people in the room, and the 9th District, the voters there mirror the 14th a lot.
Assholes.
And a lot of the voters in the room are asking questions like, and sadly, it's like, can we survive 2 more years with Biden? Can the country make it? So can you tell me, because if we get...
Yeah, it almost sounds like you guys think the country is Trump and vice versa.
Control and majority.
Oh, Liberty H, this guy has this show called BKP Politics, but this is in Georgia, so this is one of her like local shows she has to do when she's running for office.
Again,
this guy is clearly, operates in the Republican circles around the primaries and all that kind of stuff in Georgia.
A Democrat president, there's only going to be so far we can go on things.
Democratic.
But
right.
What can we do to sustain this country? Because many are concerned until we get to 2024 and we get a Republican president, if that may be Donald Trump. What can we do for the next 2 years, Congresswoman?
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. I think that's a great message to end on, is we have to temper expectations of Republican voters, because the real truth is, even if we take back the House and the Senate in 2022, we will still have a Democrat-controlled White House. So I think at best, what we have to do, what will happen is we will be stopping their Democrat agenda. So at best, nothing will happen. And that is the real truth.
That's right. At best, nothing will happen. And if there's ever been a better bumper sticker for Marjorie Taylor Greene's campaign for 2022, I don't know what it is. That's at best, nothing will happen. MTG 22. Volunteer today.
You can't pass anything into law without all three branches, right? You have, I'm sorry, without.
Well, you can do executive orders and stuff if they've stalled out completely, and if it's legal, it'll stay in. And if the next president isn't a Republican, or actually it's a good policy that helps people, they won't knock it out. Or if they do, they'll knock it out and then rename it and then sign one just like it right after.
Congress, the Senate, and the president signing bills into law. So if we can take back control in Congress, we will be stopping the Biden agenda. But then let's go further, Brian. What we have to do is we have to set up very strong and aggressive investigations into all the wrongdoing that has happened.
Yes.
Just like we're seeing the unconstitutional January 6th committee, they're having a witch hunt going on President Trump, his administration, and many of his supporters, and even people like me in Congress that bravely objected on January 6th. And so we're seeing that unfold. What we have to.
That's so weird. And they're apparently matching, apparently the person who dropped off those bombs has a weird, there's something weird about their feet or something like that. I heard. I don't know. I think it's all, personally, I think it's all a big conspiracy. Don't forget. But honest to God, I think maybe he might be part of it. I think this fella Googles you every day because he's probably part of the January 6th commission, the unselect committee on this. And I would worry because why else would he be Googling you every day with safe search off? There's no reason why you would think that's okay.
If Republicans take back the houses, we have to set up constitutional committees that will aggressively pursue all of the corruption and the wrongdoing, everything from what Dr. Fauci did, funding of Eco Alliance and COVID-19 and the Wuhan lab in China. We also need to look into these biolabs in Ukraine and other countries and what is happening there. We need to go further and we need to investigate.
We need anything where we're looking at Putin and Russia. We got to stop that and see why.
Not only Hunter Biden and his corrupt business dealings, but Joe Biden. And most importantly, and I know people are afraid of Kamala Harris being president, but we need to impeach Joe Biden. It is completely wrong to leave this man in place when he is so guilty of abuse of power. And I'll go further. He is guilty of treason against the United States American citizens for not securing our border and not following the promise that he made when he swore his oath as president of the United States.
Again, what the base? I mean, we know this is bullshit, but what is that based on? Just because everybody on Fox says the border is open doesn't mean it is.
You see, there's many things that we need to do and pursue as a Republican-controlled Congress that we should do.
That are an absolute waste of time and taxpayer dollars because we need to save taxpayer dollars.
If we can earn people's trust and vote to take back that.
Yes. Let's earn their trust and vote because the first thing you're going to do is try to impeach the president and make Kamala Harris president.
House in 2022. And Brian, I'll finish on this point because it's something that I hear constantly. People are very concerned about voting, and they're still very upset about the election of 2020. And I am too.
Yeah, a lot of them, Yeah, she is. She's not even 100% convinced you should vote. You know, there's a lot to this that says, you know, maybe your vote won't count. Maybe, you know, it doesn't, you know, maybe it doesn't even matter if you vote or whatever, because it's just going to be changed by China and probably go through Ukraine and Spain, mainly via plane.
I want to make that very clear. I am still upset about the outcome
you're upset. We get it.
Failures to stop voter fraud and to completely investigate and prosecute people guilty of voter fraud in 2020, because I fully believe that it happened. And I do not believe that Joe Biden fairly won the 2020 presidential election. I believe that
he did not fairly win the presidential election.
Trump did. And I'm upset about that. And I'm constantly upset about it. And we are still trying to figure out ways to
we still figure out ways to disenfranchise Republican voters and make them not want to vote, because I mean, honestly, if you're being cheated like that, what's the point? Solve
the problem. But the other thing is this, Brian, I also hear people, and they tell me this, and they're still so upset about that election that they are saying they will not vote. And here's my message for anyone that is.
Just enjoy that for a moment. This is a real problem they have. And it's all Trump. And her too. I mean, she and other people but mainly Trump talking people out of fucking voting.
It feels that way. I completely have empathy and compassion for those feelings.
Totally.
But if we stay home and people do not vote, even if they're upset and don't trust the system, then we are the ones handing the victory over to the Democrats. And in our state, Georgia, that is a risk that we cannot take, because we have Stacey Abrams on the Democrat ballot for governor of Georgia. And I know so many good people in Georgia, no matter how mad you are at what happened in 2020. I know for a fact that you do not want Stacey Abrams to be our governor, and you will not let that happen. So that's why I urge everyone coming up on this election.
Yeah. She actually almost won the first time. It was pretty fucking narrow. Of course, Brian Kemp was Secretary of State at the time, and had control of the election that he himself was running for. So yeah, there's a very strong chance actually that she'll win, because the Georgia voters do want that.
Especially in November, how important it is to bite the bullet, get out there and vote, because we have to stop.
That's a good get out the vote message. Bite the bullet, get out there and vote.
Stacey Abrams, and we have to do everything we can to try to get back that Senate seat that should have never been taken from us in the first place.
Congresswoman.
Terrible. Got to get that Senate seat back. Not both of them. The one with the white guy, all right, we'll live with that one. But it's the other dude that she has a problem with, it seems.
I tell everybody, and sometimes I get a little pushback, is we have to run in both lanes. We don't have to abandon the lane of trying to find out or get to the bottom of what happened in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. Run it. Yes, that's your advice to Republican voters. Run in the middle of the street with a leg in each lane. That's safety third.
Investigation needs to go forward. That's lane one. But the other lane is we have to campaign and we have to vote for 2022. Right. So we got to run in both lanes. We got to go vote.
Yes, you got to run forward and backwards at the same time. I know some people refer to it as standing still, but it's not the same thing. It's more like jogging in place like an asshole.
Congresswoman, with all the social media taking people down and how do people
check out my Telegram, and I'm on Truth Social.
Find you. Give our audience all the best ways.
Yes, at best, nothing will happen. Vote Marge, right?
Get your message, get in touch with you, or keep up with when you do post videos.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ow.
great. I try to stay on all the social media platforms to reach as many people as possible. You can find me on Getter. You can find me on Telegram. You can find me on Gab, Facebook, and
I can, but I'm not going to.
Still have my congressional Twitter account that they haven't taken away from me yet. And here's the main thing. Make sure when you follow my account, Marjorie Taylor Greene or Rep MTG, make sure it is the verified account. There's a lot of fake accounts.
Yeah. There apparently there's a lot of phooey accounts that are run by God knows who. Clearly this is, I mean, it's not, there's a plot. There's some sort of like people are coordinating something against her. Right.
Out there, people trying to pretend to be me, and they're usually lying and saying.
The people who are pretending to be her are usually lying. Kind of like the truth, or that lies are not always the truth.
Things that I don't say. So make sure whatever platform it is, you're looking for that verified account, and you'll be able to find me there. And then my website.
So blue check is what you mean. So the next time you shit on blue checks on Twitter, we'll know that you recognize that verified is a crucial part of being legitimately who you say you are. But I'm sure you're right.
Is also mtgforamerica.com, mtgforamerica.com. And you know, Brian, we're in our election.
Or you could just Google her like a fucking creep.
And I'm only supported by small dollar donors. That's mostly the donations that I receive. That's the $10.
Well, the ruble doesn't buy as many as it used to, so sure.
Maybe
I'm sorry, the rupees. The rupees.
$50 or $100 that good people are so kind and generous to donate to me. I do not take money from PACs. I do not take money from lobbyists.
Yeah, you don't do. They spend it on your behalf. We know that.
Because those aren't the people that I work for. I only work for the great people here in Northwest Georgia. And
yeah, no, PACs spend money on your behalf. They take in money and they spend it supporting you, but you don't take that money. The fuck?
Just good Americans all over the country. So please keep me in mind if anyone is willing to be generous enough to help me in my campaign.
There you go. That's what this is all about. It's just like Alex Jones, the clip we showed before. It's just like Jimmy with his fucking show and Russell with his ads at the beginning. Just, you know, this is all a pitch.
Get reelected and to fight back against the Democrats who are always coming after me.
I know you have to go somewhere else. Thank you very much, Congresswoman. We appreciate it. We'll have you back real soon. All right, folks. Thank you to Congress.
By the way, her people were texting him like, get her off the fucking show.
Thank you to Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I want to apologize to the staff. I did not see your message. And she...
So what did I fucking tell you? What did I tell you? That's why his phone went off, because they're like, asshole, she's got to go. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't even see. You guys texted me like it's time for her to go.
To be somewhere else. So let me apologize to the staff there for Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm running late.
Congress one is enough to that works.
I'm behind. We have another guest, and I hope they could stay with us through the commercial. Will stay with us through the commercial. We got to take a break, and we'll be right back with Ben Sass.
After you'll be back with Ben Sass?
Right after these messages.
Hold on. What did he literally is Ben Sass?
We have another guest, and I hope they could stay with us through the commercial. Will stay with us through the commercial. We got to take a break, and we'll be right back with Ben Souther right after these messages.
Oh, Souther. That's an old picture, BKP. I'm just saying. I feel cheated. I was looking for this fine hunk of man meat, and I ended up with this. That's not fair. This is this guy, BKP Politics or whatever. This is Voice of Rural America. This dude has on, he's mainly in Georgia, but he has a lot of like the Republicans who are running for office in Georgia on his show. And I think that's his wife, Lori. Lori talks gas prices, Russia targeting civilians, and much more. We're going to have to look at Lori once in an upcoming episode, but not tonight because I got to go have dinner. And I've already been over an hour extra on this because thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for being with me. I feel like some of these shows, like it's like pulling teeth on some of these videos. On the other hand, I'm glad that I'm covering these things long form for the very reasons that I showed you at the top, where people take these chunks out of context on purpose. This is crucial to the way I like to do business and the way I like to do this show.